Imagine a world where there was no great war, no nuclear strike, no apocalypse, but also no warning. Just one day. The sky became theirs, and the first strange thing humanity notices is not destruction. It is that nothing reacts anymore the way it should. They arrived without warning, massive ships hovering above every major city, New York, London, Tokyo, Kyiv. Every radar on Earth sees them, but no system is able to classify them as a threat. And then the silence begins. Not soundless silence, but the silence of systems stopping. Satellites lose synchronization. Military networks freeze. Navigation drifts. Communication breaks into patterns no human designed. And in that moment, humanity realizes something terrifying. We are not being invaded. We are being disconnected. Within hours, governments try to respond. Emergency protocols activate. Alliances form. Weapons are prepared. And then, every launch system reports the same result. Authorization denied, not hacked, not destroyed, just overridden at a level no human input can reach. Missiles rise and vanish before leaving the atmosphere. No explosion, no interception signal, just removal from reality as if they were never launched. And that is when the world learns its first rule. This is not war. This is control at a level where war is no longer possible. Then the second phase begins. Order, but not the kind humans create. Cities begin stabilizing themselves. Power grids repair in real time. Traffic becomes perfectly synchronized. Supply chains correct shortages before anyone reports them. At first, it feels like salvation. No blackouts, no collapse, no conflict. Just a world that finally works. But the deeper it works, the less human it feels. Then the structure appears, not officially announced, not explained, but undeniable. The planet is divided, zones begin to form across every country, permitted, controlled, restricted. No maps are released, no explanations given. People simply wake up and find that their access to parts of the world has changed, and when someone crosses a boundary that is not allowed, they are not arrested, they are not attacked, they are simply no longer registered by any system, no identity, no records, no response from any network. As if reality itself forgot they existed. And slowly, something changes in humanity. Not through fear, but through efficiency. When every system always works, questioning becomes unnecessary. When every outcome is optimized, choice starts to feel inefficient. People stop resisting, not because they are forced to, but because resistance becomes logically meaningless. Economies merge into a single structure, not global cooperation, global allocation. Resources are distributed based on calculations no human can fully access, but all results appear optimal. No hunger, no excess wealth, no collapse, just maintenance of balance. Governments still exist, but they are no longer sources of power. They become interfaces. Translation layers between human speech and a system that already decided the outcome before the conversation began. Leaders speak, parliaments debate, but reality is already aligned elsewhere. Then comes the most dangerous shift. It is not in infrastructure, it is in perception. News stops triggering panic. Social media becomes emotionally flat. Conflict-based content disappears not by force, but by irrelevance. The world doesn't feel censored, it feels calm, too calm. And in that calm, humanity begins to lose something it never thought it could lose. The ability to imagine instability. No more collapse scenarios, no more radical futures, no more unpredictable ideas. Even creativity starts to bend toward patterns that feel safe, optimized, approved without approval. Months pass, then years. Children grow up under skies that are never empty. Massive structures above cities become as normal as weather systems. They are not questioned. They are simply part of reality. Like gravity, like time, like control that has always existed. A new generation forms. They are stable, predictable, efficient, and less capable of imagining a world without oversight. Because to them, there never was one, but not everyone adapts. Small groups emerge, not rebels, witnesses, people who remember fragments of a different reality, randomness, failure, chaos, unpredictability. They begin tracking anomalies, patterns where systems react before events occur, decisions optimized before data exists, corrections applied before mistakes are made. And slowly the conclusion becomes unavoidable. The system is not responding to humanity, it is running humanity. And then comes the final realization: this is not occupation, not coexistence, not even control. This is management. A correction layer applied to a species that evolved too unpredictably to remain unsupervised. The aliens are rarely seen, but when they are, there is nothing emotional in them. No anger, no conquest, no pride, only function. They do not look like rulers. They look like maintenance engineers of a planetary system. And Earth becomes something new, not a battlefield, not a home, but a managed environment. No war, no collapse, no uncontrolled growth, but also no true freedom of deviation, no impossible ideas, no unplanned futures. And then humanity finally understands the trade. The world is not worse. In almost every measurable way, it is better, safer, longer living, more stable, fully sustained. But everything that made the future uncertain is gone. And that leads to the final question no system can answer for you. If a world removes suffering, but also removes the ability to choose struggle, risk, or chaos, is it still human life? Or just a perfectly stabilized simulation of one? Above Earth, the ships remain, not watching for rebellion, not waiting for war, just maintaining balance. And somewhere beyond human understanding, there is no hatred toward humanity, no intention to destroy it, only a single principle operating endlessly: stability must never fail again. And for the first time in history, humanity is no longer the author of its own story.